Hello from your favorite Grasslands PR team. This week we're back with another reason why these overlooked and underappreciated ecosystems are objectively the best biome. I'm Rachel.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Nicole. And today I have a very special episode dedicated to Rachel.
Oh,
because
oh no. Wait, this could be a lot of directions. Okay.
No. You don't have to do any extra work, I promise. I just thought that you would appreciate that I'm doing a bird.
Whoa.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And guess what? It's a big bird.
Okay. So you're breaking all of your rules.
Yes.
That's great.
I was inspired because, not sponsored, but on Disney Plus, there was a, what is it called?
Boba Fett. Nope. Okay.
Was it a Boba Fett?
It was not a Boba Fett.
Okay.
It was not anything Star Wars.
Was it Grogu?
Can we say all these things? I don't know.
No, we're a podcast. Nobody monitors these. There's no podcast algorithm polling our audio saying, well, hold up, copyright claim.
Okay, fine. No, a documentary. That's what it's called. There was a documentary on this bird, and I was transfixed. I did not know that I did not know anything about this bird until I watched this hour-long documentary, and I was just like amazed.
It's a big bird.
It's a big bird.
It's a big bird with a documentary about it.
Not very many. This might be the only one that exists.
Ooh,
And maybe that's why I don't know anything about it.
Is it a walking bird or a flying bird?
It's a walking bird.
Is it a shoebill?
Hell yeah.
It is not a shoe.
Shoebills are a flying bird.
Yeah, but they're also like...
They are a walk. Okay.
Yeah. When I picture a shoebill, I definitely picture them walking.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this bird...
Go ahead.
But this bird cannot fly. Oh. It is a ratite.
Okay.
Them big boys.
Oh, man.
Emu.
Well, some of them are small, I guess.
Rhea.
No, it's cassowaries, isn't it?
It's totally.
You've named almost all of them.
Ostrich.
Okay, so ostrich, rhea, cassowaries, emus. What's the last ratite?
Kiwis?
I said Rhea's. Wait,
Are kiwis a ratite?
Kiwis. Yeah.
kiwis.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
kiwis?
Yeah, it's not kiwis.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Wait, so which one?
Kiwis. I just wanted, since we named all of them, I just wanted to get all of them out of the way.
So
Kiwis-
we've named all of them, but not the one you're talking about.
No, we are
Oh, okay.
talking about one of those. Calm down.
This is a very, really...
We're talking about ostriches, okay?
Yay!
I like
I
it.
was just amazed that you guys named almost all the ratites. I was impressed. So I was just seeing if you could get the last
birds.
one.
I mean, look who you're talking to here.
Yeah.
You know, we're not.
We're not schmucks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
we know
my
our
bad.
ratites, okay.
Very impressive. No, but kiwis, I would love to do a kiwi episode, but they do like very much live in forests.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. But they're very cute.
Yeah. They got those nostrils all the way at the end of their bill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
weird.
true. They're very round. But we're not talking about those. We're talking about ostriches,
Yes.
the biggest bird, and
Period.
yeah,
Dang.
just the biggest bird.
Biggest extant bird. Yes.
Yes.
Good point,
Yes.
Rachel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I kind of wanted to talk about, because they live in extremely tough environments, to say the least. They even live in deserts, but they also live in a lot of grasslands throughout Africa. And I wanted to talk about the different ways that they overcome some of these harsh environments. Specifically, I want to talk about some of their reproductive strategies, how they overcome water loss, and then how they overcome the heat. So those three things were the things that I thought were most interesting. I'm sure there's other things that are interesting about ostriches,
Yeah, for sure.
but those are the ones I liked.
I'm ready.
I am also ready.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna open my mouth. Feed me.
Here come the facts. I'm glad you're ready.
I was gonna make it a bird thing, but then I
Yeah,
was like,
no, I
I
know.
can't call you like my mom, or that would be also weird in a different way. Okay, anyway.
It was already weird, and now it's just getting weirder.
I'm sorry.
Sometimes you just gotta lean into the weird. Don't call it out,
Okay,
Alan.
no. I'm sorry. You're right. You know what? How about
Feed me,
we?
mama bird. Give
There
me
we
the
go.
bird facts. Shove them in my mouth. Throw them up for me.
Okay, never
crop.
mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
I take it all back. No more. No more.
This is definitely going on TikTok. Yeah, this is definitely the promo. Okay.
Yes. It's the
Okay.
promo and it's staying in the episode.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We'll see. I'm
100%.
editing this one, so.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Why don't we get back on track with an ostrich fact?
Yes.
Okay. First of all,
Yes.
don't ostriches weigh like 300 pounds or something?
Oh yeah, you bet.
That's so weird to me.
Yeah.
That is not how heavy birds are supposed to be.
It is not.
Says who?
And yet.
Most birds? I don't know. like
Fair.
like the other, the other 12,000 species of birds that aren't 300 pounds.
No, they are absolutely gigantic. Especially the males, can weigh up to 300 pounds. They can be 9 feet tall.
Good Lord.
That's like 3 meters.
That's like Big Blue Stem.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but
Absolutely
angry.
gigantic. Very angry. Yes. Their feet, if you ever doubt that dinosaurs turned into birds, just look at an ostrich foot. They're gnarly. Yes.
Dinosaurs did not turn into birds.
Oh, okay.
Dinosaurs had a branch of animals
knew that
which
was coming.
I know.
included birds, and birds lived at the same time as a lot of dinosaurs. So, like,
I was
Veloci-
simplifying, so we didn't have to go into this whole thing.
Okay.
Thank you, Rachel.
But thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I could sense it coming. This
Oh, I did
as
too.
the words were leaving your mouth. I
There
was
were
like,
geese during the Cretaceous. Okay, that's like actual geese ancestors. Like,
That's
I just
pretty
need
cool.
you to know that. It is pretty cool because they were also dinosaurs at the same time as dinosaurs were being dinosaurs.
Yeah.
because they are dinosaurs.
Because they are all dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Correct.
Anyway,
Thank
go
you.
on.
So let's talk reproductive strategies first, because this was what most of that documentary that I watched was about, and what really got me excited about ostriches, which was never a bird that I had a really strong interest in. They are the largest bird. They lay the largest eggs at about 5 pounds. However, what is interesting is that that is actually the smallest egg in comparison to body size.
Wow.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
So their eggs are only about 3% of their body weight. And kiwis, our
Yep.
other ratite, lay the largest egg in comparison to their body size, which is about 16 to 20% of their weight. Just absolutely wild.
Ratites
Ooh,
are
man.
weird.
They're
Yeah.
weird. Very weird.
Yep, that's all that fun fact was just ratites are weird, basically. But their reproductive strategies for ostriches are very, very unique. There will be one male, and he will lead a harem of females. And there will be one hen major,
Ooh.
one lead hen female ostrich, who will sit on the nest and do pretty much all of the caretaking, at least during the day.
For the entire harem?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, and what is interesting is that the other females will lay their eggs in that nest. So it's a shared nest, but only the hen major will sit on that nest. So very, very strange. It is on the ground, if anybody was wondering. They don't have a whole lot of choice in the matter. They're very big birds. The nest is not very fancy. It's just kind of a scrape on the ground, but it works.
Dig it out a little bit, though, to kind of keep them all contained.
Yeah, because these nests can have a lot of eggs in them. Each female can lay, I think it's up to 10 eggs. So that nest,
Oh.
Wow.
yeah, that nest can have, 30 eggs in it.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's not unusual for, once all those eggs hatch, you just have a ton of little baby ostriches running around.
It's 150 pounds of eggs.
It's a lot of omelet.
I don't know why I was thinking that they laid way fewer eggs. I think
Yeah.
that's just maybe my brain assumes that larger animals always have fewer offspring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unique, but maybe part of the reason why we don't think of them as having very many offspring
Oh, no.
is because survival is extremely low for ostrich eggs and chicks, extremely low. Even in captivity, it's very, very low. We just do not know how to take care of them appropriately, even if you use incubators. still very, very low.
Really?
Where do they fall in the like precocial altricial like thing? Because I'd imagine since they're like ground bird, like they probably come out like pretty like ready to go.
Yes.
But they still don't survive very well.
Yeah, they come out pretty much ready to go so adult ostriches can run up to 45 miles an hour, and those babies are keeping up with mom and dad. I want to say within just a couple days.
Nice.
Wow.
So
Moms and dad.
Yes, moms and dad. But yeah, it's pretty incredible. Like they do develop very, very quickly. It's just that the environment that they find themselves in is very, very harsh. So it's very hard to survive.
Okay.
So they're not getting accidentally stepped on by their parents, because
Probably
that's the first
not.
thing my mind went to. But okay.
Well, in the documentary, there was some shoving of babies.
Oh, well, you gotta shove the babies sometimes.
You gotta. That's how you make them grow up strong, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like when you shove your plants.
Yeah.
Shove your baby birds.
Yes.
Wait, hang on. Can we back up to the captivity aspect? Because
Yes.
that is shocking to me that we have a hard time getting them to survive even in captivity.
Mm-hmm.
Because that makes it seem like it's not just that the environment is harsh, but there's something about rearing them that's difficult. Is it the eggs that they're having a hard time getting to survive, or is it both eggs and young?
It's both eggs and young.
Wow.
And we'll kind of, I don't know exactly where that comes up, but I do have some notes specifically on the captive stuff. So we'll get more into like the exact like percentages in a little bit. But yeah, I want to say it's like half of the eggs, if you're lucky, will hatch. And then another half of those offspring will actually make it to like, not even adulthood, to like 9 months is like the cutoff for a lot of these studies. So yeah, it's extremely low even in captivity. Something that might be kind of influencing those facts is that I feel like when we think of captivity, we think of like a dog or a cat in a house with air conditioning, but a lot of times these are kept outside, and they're still kept in very harsh environments. So they're kept in captivity in Africa, or they're kept in captivity in fairly harsh places. Obviously,
like Montreal.
Yeah. Or like just really desert.
Different kind of harsh environment.
Yeah,
right,
sure. Yes. For an ostrich,
Extra cold, yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, we'll talk about temperature because they also have just a really narrow range of temperature that they can like thrive in. They can survive in really harsh temperatures, but they thrive in a very narrow range.
Okay.
So that is another reason why they have really, really low success, even in captivity.
So are they just bad at thermoregulating? Like
when they're young, they're very bad at thermoregulating. And the babies, if you've never seen a baby ostrich, they're so cute.
Are they stripy?
They're like, I think they're more like dotty. But they literally look like little baby hedgehogs. Their feathers are like just like so spiky and like messy and just weird looking. They're so cute. Little hedgehogs on stilts.
I'm definitely picturing emus, so now I need to look this up because that's
little babies.
wild.
Yes, I should have pulled up a picture for you guys, but yeah.
But they're very cute.
They're so
Let me
cute.
see.
And even as adults, like they keep that kind of messy feathers, but they instead of being spiky, they're more like fluffy. So
They got a little spotted neck.
yeah,
Their faces do look very ostrichy.
yeah.
You know, like look at that. Look at him. He's got a little ostrich face.
They do have a weird face.
No, it's not weird. It's perfect.
You're right. It is perfect. And yeah, I retract that comment.
Thank you.
So where in the reproductive strategy does the ostrich dancing come in?
Yes. So males do a lot of dancing to impress the females. It's very cute. They'll like jump and like throw their wings around and like wiggle their necks, and it's a whole thing. It's pretty great. Female ostriches just find that so sexy. The best dancer will get a very large harem, and you know.
Sorry, I
That
had
was
to
beautiful
be an
dance.
ostrich for a
Yes.
second there.
But yeah, it's pretty impressive, especially I'm sure that kind of dancing is very like it's a lot of work. It's energetically expensive when you're living in almost desert environments or in a desert. But they gotta impress those ladies.
Got to.
I just want to make an observation real quick. Baby ostriches have strawberry blonde eyelashes.
That is
Thank
very
you.
adorable. They do have really pronounced eyelashes.
They have big old eyeballs. You got to keep that sand out of your eyes.
That's true. Yeah. And you got to stay hydrated when you're throwing it back in the desert.
Yes. Yes. Backtracking a little bit to this shared nest weird thing that they do.
Yes.
I couldn't find any studies backing this up, but according to the Disney hour-long documentary that I watched, apparently this hen major will prioritize her own eggs over the eggs of the rest of the harem. So she will make sure that all of her eggs are in the center of the nest. She'll put the other eggs around hers. And then sometimes we'll even have little decoy eggs completely off the nest so that predators like jackals will go and eat those eggs and then leave her eggs nice and safe.
And the decoy eggs are just like some lady.
Someone
in the harem
else's.
She does not like.
Yeah, she's like, I don't like her.
Cindy, let's just stick her eggs on the outside.
Yeah. So I don't know how true that is. I did find studies showing that ostriches can identify their own eggs, so that is an ability that they have. But I don't know if they necessarily prioritize them or like kick out decoy eggs, because that's pretty cool.
That is cool because ostrich eggs aren't patterned in any way,
No.
right? They're just white or like
Yeah.
off like eggshell color.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm not entirely sure how they identify their own eggs, but they are able to do that.
Very cool.
So yeah.
Huh.
I did also find a very interesting fact from the San Diego Zoo website, and I'm just going to quote it. So, when family groups of ostriches meet, they may challenge each other with short chases, and the winning adult pair takes all the chicks with them.
Wait.
What?
I don't know. They don't, yeah. They don't kill them. They just kidnap them.
They fight and the winner keeps all of their kids.
Yeah.
Why is this?
That's the most insane shit I've ever heard.
I know.
Why?
I don't know.
What's the benefit of that?
I don't know. What's even more wild?
They just let it happen too.
Like the babies go along with it?
Yeah.
You win this one. Go along, kids.
Just a quick little dance battle, and then
try again later.
It's a
Yeah.
dance battle?
I mean, it's mostly
Oh,
just
God,
chasing.
I wish it was a dance battle.
I picture it as a dance
so
battle,
funny.
but it's probably not actually a dance battle. But the more wild part of this,
I don't understand these creatures.
they're so weird. It just gets weirder. Just wait. But again, according to the San Diego Zoo, some of these nurseries can end up with 300 chicks.
So the fastest ostrich ends up with. What the hell? It's so dumb.
I don't
love it.
understand.
Oh man.
I don't
Okay.
understand.
Can they tell them all apart so they're like, ooh.
Is it decoy babies?
Yeah,
Like
that's
there's
what I was
decoy
gonna say.
eggs?
It's like I have my babies in the middle, and then all the other 300 babies are just to keep the jackals off mine. Oh no! Wait, how?
Do you
Did they
think?
raise them all?
Do you think that their like ostrich wife is like, you don't have to win this one. We have 300 kids, and the husband's just like, I gotta go fast. I gotta do this. Oh my god.
I hope so. I hope so.
Okay.
I don't understand.
I don't understand either.
Ooh.
Oh,
And I,
so
I
funny.
it's so funny.
Oh man.
300. Please stop.
Okay.
Go slow for once. I don't need any more. We're depleting the landscape.
They would have to, like, if you had 300 babies to take care of, you would have to move around so much to find enough food for all those things.
Yeah,
like,
Ooh, well, it's
Please.
a good thing most of them died then.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
Oh, God.
Nicole, this is already a great episode.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Hang on, let me drink some water. Ooh. Like I'm gonna throw up.
And I had a transition here, but I already ruined the surprise. But I'm just going to say it anyways because it's a good transition. With all of these intense parental care, they must have great What? Dang it!
That was really good, Nicole.
You did it.
Amazing.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Ooh, shoot. Okay. With all of this intense parental care, they must have great survivability of chicks, right? Wrong, but I already ruined it.
I mean,
yeah.
I think we saw that coming.
Yeah.
300 chicks.
Yeah, it's wild. It's just a really tough environment, you know? So they have extremely low survival rates of eggs and chicks, like I said. One book that was simply called Ostrich.
Okay.
Great title.
Yep.
Quote, fewer than 10% of nests survive the 9-week period of laying and incubation. And of the surviving chicks, only 15% of those survive to 1 year of age.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so 15. So out of all eggs laid, it's a 15%.
No. Out of all eggs hatched,
it's
15%.
Yeah,
Wow.
so even worse.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. So even in captivity, nearly 50% of eggs fail to hatch, and only about half, so again, yeah, so 50 and then 50 again, reach 4 months of age. And this was based on a study in Europe. So it's even higher mortality rates in other places, like captive birds in Austria? No, it's not.
Australia?
Australia is a good option. Or I was trying to say Africa. There's too many A names. But yes, it's extremely, extremely low. Whether it's because of the intense environment or just because we truly just don't have good husbandry of these birds. Like we don't know how to, even though they've been in captivity for a long time.
Yeah.
We just are very poor at keeping them alive. Once they're adults, they live for a very long time and are very healthy. But getting them to that stage, very difficult.
Well,
Wow.
because there's a small market for ostrich eggs and meat, like globally.
Oh yeah.
People
So you
farm them.
Yeah, so you'd think that people would be like, you know, with an economic incentive would be like actually trying to, really try to develop a way to maximize chick survivability. Do you know if even in like an agricultural context, is that still an issue?
It is. Yeah. Wow. So I didn't write down all of the different ones, but I found a study just looking at captivity across the world basically. And yeah, it's even in like farm settings, it's extremely low.
Wow. That's
crazy.
Wild. I don't understand. They don't know why. So like I was going to ask you some options that were coming to mind, but we just don't know.
Yeah. Some of it is just improper husbandry. Some of it is, we don't know. And like I said, and that's even, so there's been studies where they try to like, they literally take them and incubate them. So it's not like, the parents are doing a bad job. Like they have the best possible chance at life and they're still just dying for whatever reason.
2 questions.
Yes.
One, are they all fertilized?
I'm assuming. Otherwise, I would imagine they would take them out of that pool. Yeah, because it's easy to candle an egg and see if it's fertilized.
Okay, second question. Do the chicks develop and they just like don't make it out of the egg?
I'm not 100% sure on that one.
I guess if that was the case, people would know that though, and they would be able to like intervene or something.
Yeah.
God, that's so weird. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and 50% and 50%, like 50% hatch rate, 50% survivability of chicks is much higher than in the wild, but it's
Sure.
still very low.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
when you can control the entire like process of raising
Yeah.
them, like that's insanely low.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. Strange.
Very strange.
What a mysterious creature.
Indeed.
Yeah. It's especially wild because I mean we know that people in these settings are trying their best. Like it's not that
Yes.
we're just bad husbandry. It's not that there's universally bad husbandry on purpose. It's just that we don't have whatever information we're missing to make it good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Because, like, yeah, like between people who obviously, whether they're raising them professionally or within zoo settings, like these people raise all sorts of endangered birds
Yeah.
very successfully in captivity, but just not ostriches. So that's strange and alarming.
Mm-hmm. And I did find one study that looked at like if you have a very like fit parents, that survivability does increase pretty significantly. So it might be a matter of like we need to do more specific breeding to have like really fit parents, so then you have fit offspring and then give you fit offspring and so on and so on. But
Makes a fit parent in this context though.
survivability.
What do you mean?
Like how well are they able to thermoregulate? How well are they able to survive a lack of water, things like that. So yeah, it's in that specific study, I think it was looking at temperature and ability to thermoregulate. But yeah.
In adults?
Okay. So like birds that were able to thermoregulate very, very well often had offspring that could also thermoregulate very, very well. So yeah.
So is there like some bottleneck type event that happened and like sort of messed up ostrich genetics so that they have all these congenital issues and just aren't surviving as well anymore? And I don't know.
Hard to say.
Hard to say.
Yep. I imagine like, because like you said, this is a economically important topic. So you would think there'd be more research on it. But yeah, I'm not sure. But let's talk a little bit about how they thermoregulate and how they beat the heat.
With their feathers.
Yes, feathers do help. So ostriches do breed year-round. However, temperature has a huge impact on the success of those offspring. So something that I thought was kind of interesting, like I'd never really thought about it, was how normal-sized birds, little ones, can take advantage of like microclimates in their environment. So if it's hot, you dive underneath the bush, get some shade. You could even, dive into like a hole underground or something like that if you're really desperate. Ostriches can't do that.
True.
They are just like in the heat all the time or in the cold all the time. So how is it that they are thermoregulating? And a lot of that has to do with respiration.
Lungs.
Yes. So
No.
they have a very narrow range of temperatures, again, that is like ideal for them. The ideal temperature that has been found for ostriches is somewhere right around 20 degrees Celsius, which is 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is also my ideal temp. So I get it.
It's a good temp, yeah.
Yeah. A 5-degree temp hotter, so up to about 77 degrees Fahrenheit, or colder, so down to about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, this is Celsius, so I know those aren't 5 degrees off of 70, but was found to reduce fertility in both sexes by 15% and 18%. So 15% if it's hotter, 18% if it's colder. So females laid fewer eggs and males produced fewer sperm if they came off of that ideal temperature of 20 degrees Celsius.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that in an African desert, it is not frequently 68 degrees.
It is not.
I imagine even in savannas and grasslands.
Yes, it is
that
not.
It's also not. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
probably swings between night and day, like right past that temperature.
Yep.
It's probably 68 degrees for like 5 minutes.
Pretty much, yeah. it's pretty intense. So they are very, very good at thermoregulating. It's just that that's like their ideal temperature. And so the body temperature of an ostrich can be maintained below 40 degrees, which is high. It's 104 degrees Fahrenheit. But that's even when outside temperatures are as high as 56 degrees Fahrenheit or 132 degrees Fahrenheit. And they can survive that easily with very little stress for more than 6 hours. So that's a pretty significant decrease, like as far as thermoregulation. It's still not at their ideal, but they are managing it fairly well. They are surviving it, they're just not thriving.
Interesting.
Yes.
What an unfortunate situation where the environment they live in is not ideally suited for their survival.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like that doesn't, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And with these temperature changes of just 5 degrees, either hotter or colder, the hatching success was also affected, with 4 to 7% of eggs failing to hatch even when they were moved to an incubator. So they found that there was a bit of like a lag effect happening. So if the, parents were experiencing this heat stress, they would lay the eggs in that heat stress. And even when the eggs were removed, they still had a lower hatching success rate.
Because they were already heat stressed just
Yes.
from being out. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is absolutely wild. And this, 4 to 7% seems like a kind of small success rate difference. But combined with changes in egg laying rates, this actually results in a total number of offspring decreasing by 28% with a 5-degree temp increase and 44% with a 5-degree decrease.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, dang. So
That's significant.
Yeah.
it's really significant. And I mean, if you're talking about like potential climate warming scenarios that are going to go like 5 degrees Celsius or whatever, then that's really not good for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because now their new normal is already going to be outside their ideal. And then
Yeah.
it's still going to get hot just because they live in a harsh environment. So, yeah.
Or even in like a non-harsh environment, like temperate
Yeah.
environments are
Yeah.
not suitable for them either and stuff. Like that's so wild.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not an animal you can just stick in a building and have them be okay in a barn. Like
No.
they're so huge. They need a ton
Yeah.
of space and they need to be
Yes.
outside.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And it really, like you were saying, Alan, it kind of puts a really fine point of like, oh, only 2 degrees, that's fine. But for these guys, that's not okay. Like that's
Yeah.
significant and will affect their success a lot. Yeah. And like I said, keep in mind, so this study in particular was actually captive ostriches that were supplemented with water and food. They're well taken care of. And so these temperature changes are probably even more extreme on wild birds. So, yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Gosh. So, okay. Why exactly don't they do well with the heat, though? Because you think, like, they're large-bodied. They're mostly bare-feathered. Like, they're bare-legged, bare-necked.
Yeah.
You'd think they would be able to, like, dump a lot of heat off their body.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like even though they have like those very what we describe as like fluffy feathers, like they absolutely can ventilate those. And there's I'm sure a lot of bare patches underneath those feathers.
Well, so again, the adults thermoregulate very well.
Okay.
The eggs really can't do much. And then the babies they don't handle heat very well at all. Even in like the documentary, it was very pathetic. Like the parents will sometimes like put their like wings out to give the baby shade and stuff like that. But within, 24 hours, they need to find water for their babies. and that is a very limited resource. And so those babies just can't tough it. The adults can, but the babies can't.
I'm just picturing some ostriches rolling up to a watering hole with a lot of predators and 300 babies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, if you have 300, at least a couple of them will survive.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game, yeah.
I really do wonder if it's I take better care of my babies and I keep them closer, and now I have all these decoys kind
buffer.
of thing.
It's gotta be it, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
maybe.
That's gotta be the benefit.
Yeah.
Like if they can recognize their unmarked, just eggshell eggs,
Yes.
surely they can recognize their babies. Like most birds
Surely.
absolutely recognize their own young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Immediately after hatching. So
Crazy.
Absolutely wild. So I touched on this very, very briefly, but they primarily are thermoregulating through panting, through respiration. And just an absolutely wild fact that I found was that air velocity when they're panting may reach values as high as 20 meters a second. For comparison, humans only, if you're like really trying, can do 2.2 to 10 meters per second. So they're twice as good at breathing as we are.
That's the okay. Hold on.
that's not twice as good.
Wait, we're
10 to 20?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm very confused. I need help.
okay, yes.
Okay, you said that's the velocity,
Yes.
not the
So
volume, not like a cubic meter.
I have that too. Are you interested?
Well, yeah, no, sure, yeah. Let's hear it.
Okay. So it's kind of gross, but the total volume of the respiratory system of a 100-kilogram ostrich is about 15 liters. This, because I was very curious, is determined by the volume of liquefied gelatin that would fill the system in dead birds.
Okay.
So like all the air sacs,
Yeah.
everything. Okay.
Yeah, they have huge air sacs. And for comparison, again,
15 cubic meters.
yeah,
Okay.
human lungs have a capacity of about 6 liters.
Dang.
So they are much bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. So they were breathing the
Velocity.
the wind speed, if you
Yes.
will,
Yes.
of their breath is 20 meters per second.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't even. Okay.
They have like standard bird lungs though, right? They don't have like any weird physiological stuff going on besides just normal bird weird physiology.
Yes, I
Okay.
do believe so. Yeah.
Do they ever consider just like breathing on their chicks a lot to like fan them?
Wouldn't that be hot?
So it
think
is
so.
cooler than the ambient temperature.
Mm-hmm.
That's so they're panting and they're cooling that air as they're doing that, primarily through their big long neck. It kind of acts like a radiator and it spreads out that heat. So the air that they're breathing out is cooler than the ambient temperature.
Okay.
So maybe they should breathe on their chicks.
Air condition their babies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Amazing.
Wild. Now I'm wondering like how much of that velocity is because they're just birds that are that large, and how much of it is like abnormal, because like birds breathing is very different from our breathing, and
For
so
sure.
like it makes sense to me that it would be faster,
Yeah.
and with that amount of volume, it's like, well, yeah, it would come out like,
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I don't know as far as like comparing like a robin's air velocity versus an ostrich and like what is it called? Accounting for body size, like how that changes. I did find that accounting for body size, ostriches actually have a much higher metabolic rate than a lot of other birds, which I thought was interesting. Especially since they live in really harsh environments. You'd think you would want a slower metabolic rate.
Well, and they're not, doing a lot of the really energetically costly things other birds do, like flying.
Yeah.
So that does seem unusual.
Yeah.
Like unexpected to me.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Okay. I'm just trying to follow here.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Well, no, it's not that it's a lot. It's just that I don't understand ostriches at all, and
I don't either, even after hours of research.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Why are they so bad at surviving? At least they're babies.
Right.
The adults are great at it.
Just a strange creature.
You keep saying adults are great at it, but like just being hotter despite they're really good at thermoregulating as adults. It's like they're still losing fertility and unable to like actually take care of their offspring. So that's very, I mean, they're not that good.
Well, I mean, even humans, if you are heat stressed, it's
can't take care of your babies.
Yeah, well, you can't take care of your babies, but your fertility will lower.
Oh, okay.
Like sperm count lowers in males that are heat stressed. And so, yeah, that's very common. It's just that I don't have like data on that. I don't have exact numbers and how it compares to ostriches, but that's a very common phenomenon.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So they're doing their best.
Yeah, yeah.
Doing their best.
Yeah.
Never mind.
What?
Say it, Rachel.
Have they considered lowering their testes out of their body?
Well, I'm sure they would if they could.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it worth detouring to like, you know how bird lungs work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I do.
Would you like
bird
to tell
lungs?
everyone?
Crazy.
I mean, it is weird, and if you don't know how bird lungs work, then it will probably shock and confuse you. So,
is it worth
if you have like
that right now?
Yeah, if you have like I cannot explain it in a coherent way quickly. So if you can do that, you are more than welcome to, and I think that our listeners would love to hear it.
They're way more efficient than other lungs because like with us, when we breathe in and out, it's like a sac that's just filling and emptying. And that's, I think, how we imagine all lungs are. But with birds, they have this like entire bellows system of air sacs. And so the lung itself is just like a solid organ in their body. And the air moves through it in just one direction. So yeah, it's super efficient, and basically when they breathe in and out, it's the air sacs that are moving the air, and then they just pump the air straight through the lung, and that makes it extremely efficient.
right.
It's like it goes through the lung in one direction into more air sacs and then out the body. So the air sacs have to breathe in and out twice in different parts of the body to get the air fully in and fully out of the body, but it's just continuously moving through the lung in one direction.
Yeah. So every time they breathe in and out, inhale and exhale, they're getting oxygen across the, what do they call them, alveoli of their lungs.
All the little long bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a sponge, just like
it's like
pushing air through it.
And they have like different kinds of birds have different numbers of air sacs, right? Like it's anywhere from like 9 to like 20 or something plus. Like...
Yeah. And there's air sacs at the back end and air sacs on the front end of the bird. And they go into the bones. Like when you think about birds having hollow bones, it's because their lungs are inside of their bones. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But do ostriches have are they solid boned? Like a loon?
I was going to wonder that because penguins also have dense bones, so they're solid.
They do actually have hollow bones.
Okay. Cool.
So interesting. Okay,
or at least hollow femurs was specifically mentioned.
Okay.
Hollow femurs. That's cool.
That makes sense.
But yeah.
So that they're hollow because their lungs are inside there.
Yeah.
Sort of. Their respiratory system's inside there. It's like how we have sinuses in our face, but they have sinuses throughout their entire body. Yeah. It's like if they get a respiratory infection, not only does their face swell up, but like their whole body would swell up. You know what I mean? Like that's equivalent. The sinuses in our face are equivalent to what's happening inside bird bones throughout their body.
Okay.
I never thought about it
Gross.
that way,
Yeah.
and that is upsetting. Yeah, that bothers me. Huh.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Interesting. Well, because so this is neither here nor there, but like sinuses also play a role for us in thermoregulation.
Yeah, totally.
Like it's passing air that we're breathing in through all those tight spaces covered in warm moist membrane like helps us regulate our body temperature.
Yeah.
Does that have any kind of similar effect for birds as they're like pumping air literally through their skeletal system?
I'm sure it would. Yeah.
It was mentioned specifically with ostriches that like even their air sacs help a little bit with thermoregulation. So
That makes sense. Because
Wild.
like you said, they're moist chambers of air that are moving through.
Yeah.
And so, that has cooling effects for sure.
Definitely.
It's good stuff.
I just want you guys to know that dinosaurs also had this. This is not just a bird trait. It is a dinosaur trait.
dinosaur
and that's
trait,
one of
yeah.
the reasons why these guys are dinosaurs. Also,
Yes.
things that are not technically dinosaurs also had air sacs, like pteranodons and pterosaurs. So this is a pretty basic, cool reptile trait. As in like the reptiles that are cooler than other reptiles.
Yes.
Fair.
Meaning, yeah. Mhm.
Meaning dinosaurs
Yeah.
and pteranodons. Things that are cooler than snakes
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
and lizards.
Kind of I don't know why we're trashing snakes and lizards, but yeah, I mean, you're right. They're very cool.
They're all members of the same tree,
That's right. Aren't we all members of the same tree?
Whoa.
Wow.
Amazing.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, bird lungs are wild.
They are.
It's very fun. Like, what are the what's the species of goose that flies over the Himalayas? It's like the bar-headed.
Barnacle? No.
Is there bar-headed?
Bar-headed, maybe, yeah.
Bar-headed, yeah. But they're geese that literally fly over the peak of Mount Everest,
Yeah.
just full speed flying.
Yeah.
Because they have those cool lungs that it's not an issue for them, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Hyper efficient.
yeah, and the coldness of the air doesn't bother them either because they're regulating it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Very
Whereas we would
die for sure.
be dying. Yes. At that
We wouldn't be able
altitude.
to even pull the oxygen out of the air that thin.
Nope.
Ooh.
Good stuff. Way to go,
Something like
birds.
that.
Birds are neat, man.
But the last thing I wanted to cover was how good they are at just surviving without water or finding water in their environment to use. Again, I'm just going to start this out with a couple quick bashings on the San Diego Zoo's website.
Bashings?
Yes.
Bashing the
Whoa, whoa.
ostriches or bashing the zoo?
Are you going after the San Diego Zoo?
Only their website.
Is this
And
a
how-
Missouri Department of Conservation thing?
Yes!
Okay,
Where they
okay.
just throw out these facts with no citations.
citation.
And I'm like, okay, I guess. Like the 300 babies, could not find that anywhere else. Only the San Diego Zoo website.
Where did they get that
okay.
information from?
I don't know. But one, San Diego Zoo website and a lot of other websites say that ostriches can just survive without water, which is cute, but not true.
Hold on.
Wow,
Go
okay.
ahead, yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of other places will like see information on websites
Yes.
like the San Diego Zoo and
That's
then
the
just
issue.
copy it over without citing it or
Yes.
looking for references or
Yes.
anything.
And that's the issue is we have like these weird fun facts that are really common that are just not facts at all and not even like it's slightly based in reality, which we'll talk about, but like the reasoning behind it is they don't need a source of water
Right.
because they eat so much vegetation.
They don't need free water. They're
Yes.
using metabolic water.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're getting a lot of their water from the stuff that they're eating, which is fair, but they do 100% need water.
Yeah.
But it's a known
Yeah,
it's a known
right.
They
fact.
just don't need
Like,
freestanding water.
Yeah.
yeah. But they do.
Okay.
Yeah. They need a water source and they need to drink water. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't
Yeah.
we all?
I mean, not all animals.
But
But
my
ostriches do.
Euromastix upstairs does not have water.
Yeah.
Well, but it gets metabolic water though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's how his body works.
All need that water.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Listeners, take a moment to drink some water.
Yes.
Oh, I'll drink some water.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah. It's important.
It is important.
Exactly.
You will die.
You will
Within,
die.
like,
Your
3 to
sperm
4
count will
days.
drop. You will have poor reproductive success.
Yes.
So drink some water.
I feel like
It's
men
true.
are very concerned about their sperm counts right now, so maybe that'll really hit your target audience. We see a lot of discourse about people's
Yes.
sperm counts.
Oh,
Yes.
sure,
Yes. But back to ostriches. Another really wild thing that they just threw out on their website with no explanation whatsoever was, quote, they also have a special way of raising their body temperature on hot days to reduce water loss.
What?
They didn't explain anything about that.
They have a special way.
Did they just get hot? Is that
And then they just get water somehow. That's what the San Diego Zoo says.
San Diego Zoo? What is happening?
They
So-
have
You
a...
need to supervise your website.
What was that?
That's the issue.
That exact sentence was what again?
They have a special way of raising their body temperature on hot days to reduce water loss.
Oh, if it's a hot day, I don't think that they're raising their body temperature on purpose.
Yeah. So I looked into it because I was like, they had to have gotten this from somewhere, right? And they just like misinterpreted it. So I found a paper that talked about dehydrated ostriches in high temp environments, and while dehydrated ostriches will use less water when they're dehydrated versus a hydrated ostrich, I feel like that just kind of makes sense because if
They
you're
have
dehydrated, you have less water to use.
Yeah.
And they will actually let their temperature rise because, again, they are very good at thermoregulating, but they will let their temperature rise above their normal, like the normal levels that we know that they can keep their body temperature under.
Mm-hmm.
And this actually does help them preserve water.
Okay.
So a higher body temp means that it's closer to the ambient temperature, and that will reduce your water loss as well as reducing heat gain from the environment. This is also something that camels do.
Okay.
So it's much more nuanced than the website said,
Yeah. Okay.
but it is true-ish.
Because like there's like if the difference, like there's a smaller gradient between whatever your
Yes.
temperature is and outside, then you're not like there's not as much like evaporation happening.
There's not as much evaporation, and you're also taking in less heat. It's kind of like if you're
Right,
holding
okay,
an ice cube, your hand's going to get cold really, really fast. Whereas like if you're touching something that's only a little bit cold, your hand's going to stay warmer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
And
of how that works. Yeah.
conserves water because
It's lowering they're not respiring as much, so they're allowing their temperature
okay.
to increase, and that's when you lose most of your water. At least ostriches do lose most of their water through their respiration.
yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
They don't sweat, so they're losing it mostly through respiration. So they're lowering their respiration, increasing their body heat,
Okay.
but conserving water.
That
Heavy
makes a lot of sense.
breathers.
Yeah.
Heavy breathers. So they're by not spending so much energy trying to get their body temperature down, they're
Yes.
just not respiring as much and losing water that way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's really neat. It
Mhm.
seems like the website isn't like incorrect. It's just worded in a way that's very obstructive to
Yes.
understanding what's happening.
Yes.
Well, it's also kind of a non-fact.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
It is.
you know, it's like saying, I don't know, like prairie dogs have a special way of keeping their colony safe. It's like, well,
what is that special way?
what is that? Yeah, you know, butterflies have a special way of migrating. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, can we be more specific? Like, but anyway,
Yeah.
no,
Mhm.
no hate to the San Diego Zoo.
No,
We wouldn't have condors without them.
it's true.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
great.
They do a lot of good work, but I wish their ostrich page was better.
Terrific institution.
Mm.
But in general, like I said, ostriches do need very, very little water, and that is at least partially due to their very, very leafy diet. They can also use salt water, which is pretty unique for
Wow.
animals in general, but I think
Yeah.
especially birds. Or no?
I mean, there's a lot of birds that use salt water,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I mean, it's still very uncommon.
Okay.
And especially for a land-based bird, like that's what
Yeah.
surprises me.
Mhm.
Like a lot of seabirds can do that, but
Yeah.
why on earth would an ostrich be doing that? You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
they have a whole like continent of mostly grasslands they could be occupying without the need to engage with salt water.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? But there are some populations that live in areas where there's salty lakes. So they're
Oh,
able to
okay.
take advantage of those lakes. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, there's other a lot of hot weather creatures are do have ways of like handling intense salinity.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about Bactrian camels being able to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe it's just a really common feature that in like water scarce environments, some of the water just ends up being saline
Yeah.
because it's very concentrated.
Right.
Yeah. And you have
Probably,
to be
yeah.
able to use it because it's all you got.
That's all you
Yeah, hell, we even I can say hell, whatever. Okay. Hell, we even talked about Mongolian toads being able to use salt water,
Yeah.
which was crazy.
Yeah.
Like amphibians? What? Okay.
Wild. Yeah.
Wild.
Huh. Okay, well that's cool.
And-
Wait, what is the
yes.
range of ostriches? I really casually said they had a whole continent of grasslands, but I don't know if they're actually in the entire continent's worth of grasslands.
Quite a bit of it is occupied by ostriches, but it's mostly like the extra tough grasslands. So like the like beautiful lush savannas that we often think of, they're not really there. Like they are, but they're not. They're really in the like short grass, really dry grasslands, and then also, like I said, in the deserts as well.
So like up around the Sahara, there's like a couple bands of grasslands on
Yeah.
either side of that.
Yeah, like the
okay.
southern half of that, and then also I believe in South Africa as well.
Okay.
And there are actually 2 species of ostriches.
What?
Yeah, no one talks about this.
I didn't know that.
There are 2 species, and there's the Somali ostrich, which actually has like a blue neck. So it's also called like the blue-necked ostrich, which I've
Nice.
definitely seen pictures of. And I was like, why does the ostrich have a blue neck? I don't know. And just like moved on. But it's a whole different species.
Okay.
And then there's the common ostrich, which is the one that's always in all the documentaries. So,
Is
yeah.
the blue-necked ostrich, the Somali ostrich, does it
Yes.
have like black and white feathers too? Oh,
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
the main difference is literally that it has a blue neck and like blue feet. So it's very weird. But otherwise, very similar life
Yeah.
histories, very similar appearance. And only recently, I think maybe 2014, did we do genetic testing and realize that it was a separate species.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah,
I imagine they're geographically separated.
they are.
Okay.
The Somali ostrich is in Somalia.
Wow.
Oh. Makes sense.
Yeah. I wanted to talk just a little bit more about like their water and how they process salt and that kind of good stuff. I found a quite old paper from 1967 that found they could drink up to like 20% seawater in their water and be totally fine, be able to process it. They actually get rid of that extra salt through glands in their nose.
Okay.
So they have
Okay.
nice salty snot.
Like a seagull.
Yes, yes.
Seagull, like a scoter,
Yeah.
like a Euromastix.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
And they will migrate to find food over migrating to find water. So like their limiting resource in their environment is their food and not their water.
Okay.
It was found that ostriches can go 9 days without water. They do lose up to about 25% of their body weight when that happens, so it is detrimental to them,
Okay.
but they can survive it.
Oof.
Yeah.
And to be clear, because of our conversation earlier with the San Diego Zoo website,
Yes.
that's talking about freestanding water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously getting some water from vegetation and metabolism and stuff.
Yeah. And these, I say restricted because these were captive animals they were held outside like in pens, but they just were not allowed any freestanding water.
Okay.
For
But
9
they
days.
had access to food.
Yes.
And okay.
Yeah. That is the bald-necked, bald-legged, big-eyed ostrich and all the fun facts that I liked about them.
What
They're
a,
very weird birds.
yeah, a strange and beautiful creature.
Yeah. It's so fun to learn about birds. Thanks, Nicole, for
Yeah.
teaching us about some birds.
Yeah.
My favorite fact is that they steal each other's babies.
That is an insane fact. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit wild. And at least the adults are good at surviving, even if the chicks aren't.
Yeah. What do they sound like? I'm just thinking of that TikTok I saw recently of a cassowary grunting where it was like, "Hur, hur, hur, hur." Like,
Cassowaries are so scary. Ostriches do make deep bellows, especially like the males.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know like what their normal vocalizations are.
Ooh.
I know I've like heard it, but I
Yeah.
can't bring it to mind.
I'm going to need to look this up.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
They make
Hello?
weird noises.
Where is everyone?
Again, dinosaurs.
That's a baby trill.
That is a definite Jurassic Park noise, yes.
Yeah. If we need to bleep anything, we should use the boom.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They make a very good case, or a very good reference for birds are dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yes. This is
100%.
bizarre. I guess I just don't think about ostriches that much because,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yes, what a strange bird.
I think ostriches and other really, I can't actually think of very many zoo birds that are that well known or whatever, but I feel like they occupy almost a mythological space in our brains because we learned about them as kids in that sort of context.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's, fun pulling them into reality and being like, oh,
Yeah.
wait, let's
Yeah.
look at this as adults with adult brains and realize this thing exists and is super weird.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm glad that you could come on this journey with me.
Well, yeah.
I watched that documentary over Christmas break, and I've just been thinking about ostriches ever since. So finally got notes together.
Nice. Good job, Nicole.
Thank you.
And good job, listeners, for sticking with us through this episode. I hope you found it as entertaining as we did. The Best Biome is produced through our nonprofit that we started called Grassland Groupies, which is dedicated to inspiring the conservation of grasslands. In our show notes, you can find all the ways to get a hold of us, contact us, stalk us on social media, including our TikTok account at Grasslands Rule. Text, call, or tweet any suggestions you have at us, your fan mail or your hate mail. I'm not asking for hate mail, but it has been a while since we got that really fun one. So I don't know. If you have it in your heart to roast us, feel free. If you enjoyed the show and want to support us, tell your friends about us, and leave a review for us on Podchaser, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. We couldn't do this without your support. Oh, we can leave reviews on Spotify now, huh?
Yeah, that's why I added it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Forgot about that. I don't use Spotify for podcasts. Anyway, we'll see everybody again in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ooh.